It's been 20 years, so they gave us a sequel. Alright guys, so this is my review for T2 Trainspotting, obviously the sequel of the first Trainspotting movie. This follows the story of basically the events after what Renton did. This is 20 years later when Renton has returned to Scotland and he sees Spud and Sick Boy and Bigby again. And I'm not going to release too much about the plot because I didn't really know too much about the plot going into it. Because it wasn't a movie that necessarily needed a sequel. I think we saw what the sequel would be, it'd be the, repercussions of what Renton did. But I don't want to release how these characters reacted or anything like that. But let's get straight into it. Alright, so basically, this movie was pretty good. It definitely had some flaws, but I think it delivered on what it was trying to do. Basically, to me, it felt like a more light-hearted Trainspotting. I know it sounds weird because Trainspotting is such a hardcore, abstract movie. This one was, I think it was R-rated in Australia, but it still didn't feel like it was R-rated. I felt like it was maybe, maybe an MA, I think a hard MA. I think because they showed a dick a couple times, it made it, R. But other than that, it wasn't even close to as hardcore as the first Trainspotting. But saying that, it did feel like a more light-hearted version. There was a lot more jokes in this movie. There was a lot more comedic side to it. I mean, there was definitely some funny scenes deliberately done. I mean, in the first Trainspotting, there wasn't a scene I don't think deliberately done. There might have been some stuff they did that you're like, it's funny because it's so fucked. Like, you're just like, oh, okay, yep, okay, I'll give it to them. Because they just did some fucked shit and you were just like laughing and you're like, oh, okay. But this one definitely has some scenes where they try to be comedic, and it definitely has a lighter side. There's not as much drugs in this movie. I mean, there's cocaine. Obviously, the first movie was just focused on heroin and just hardcore heroin. I don't think Renton's been off for 20 years. Spud's into it, but he's trying to recover, and then Sick Boy does cocaine now. So it kind of it's a lesser side of the drugs, but it's still obviously the repercussions of what they did, so it's going to be focused on that as well. But saying that, I think it was a good story. I think they really did well on trying to give you a story where a story wasn't necessarily needed. I think the story was pretty good. The characters were pretty good. I think they were well done. There was times, though, that you saw, Ewan McGregor as Ewan McGregor instead of Renton, instead of, Mark Renton, the drug. I know he's healthier now and he's been off drugs and whatever, but he still seemed like Ewan McGregor at times, unfortunately. Spud was just perfectly Spud. I can't take it away from that. Bigby was pretty Bigby. And then Sick Boy, he at times as well, he's now known as Simon in the movie. He doesn't like to be called Sick Boy, so obviously he's changed a little bit, but there was times either way. But there was specifically scenes where you just saw that, and there was a scene, obviously such an iconic scene where he gets hit by a car in the first one, and he looks and grins at the driver in the first movie. And they basically recreate that scene, and it was ridiculous. It's so nostalgic. And that is such a big factor in this movie, nostalgia. I mean, because it's been 20 years, even if you only, like me, I only saw it a day before seeing the second one, but it felt so nostalgic because the time had passed in the, movie universe. It actually has been 20 years. So even if you had seen the movie just the day before, it felt so nostalgic because the character's so much older. And I think it was just a really cool factor. Some of the greatest scenes were the scenes they kind of recreated these scenes or looked back on the scenes from the first one. And that was a really cool factor, but there was some definite flaws. It was still abstract. A lot of the scenes hit, but there was a few that didn't hit. It doesn't hit as hard as maybe the cooler scenes in the first one. But as I said, it was huge. It felt like a really nostalgic kind of movie. I think you definitely have to love the first one to enjoy the second one. I think this one definitely has a few more flaws and is more light-hearted. And because it's competing, it's not trying to compete, but you kind of have to compare it to the first one because it's been so long. You're like, okay, how's this going to weigh up to the first one? It definitely gives you a different feel, but isn't a bad feel necessarily. But as I said, because there was some flaws I saw, I really did love it. I think this could definitely be a top 10 movie favourite of the year. There could be movies B+, I don't put on the list in this one. I'm going to give a B because I feel like there was flaws, and I still might put on the top 10 list over B+, because I really, really enjoyed it myself, but I did see some flaws in there. I've said that a few times, but there was some flaws that I noticed, but it was a really, really enjoyable movie, especially if you love the first Trainspotting and you can kind of want to enjoy that lighter side. You definitely love this because this is just a lighter side of the first movie, a less hardcore version. But that is my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys want to check out the second one because I really did enjoy it. And even if you don't think you will enjoy it because it's more lighthearted, definitely check it out because there is some scenes where they're hardcore and you just reflecting directly onto that first movie. So check it out. I would definitely recommend it. I've got plenty of reviews coming. I've still got another 3 in the next couple of days to put up, and then I'm going to get back to the normal, 2 a week or so. But you guys know what to do. You can comment and get involved in the conversation below. You can like and you can subscribe. And of course, guys, have a good one.